Hello, hello to the rest of the world. But this is a special video made for Richard, sometime known as Ricky. Hi, Ricky. I'm sorry I took so long to answer your or do your video for you, but I've done it now. So here we are. The video is done, but I'm just going to go for a quick. Um, and to the rest of the world who's watching, Richard asked me to how do you overcome the fact of a jacket that has a back vent? Right now, back vents on jackets, whether they've got one or two, they are complicated. Even when you do pocket, it has the same effect when you do pocket, when you're doing it and you make it and you put zips in it. They are made in almost the same way. Okay, so I did a little sample. Now, please, for all you out there, don't ask me for the measurement because this is a sample, a demo, roughly done. There's no measurements involved. And guess what? With this imaginary jacket, there's no sleeves. Right, so you're going to have to use your imagination. So can you imagine now, this is a jacket, this is the front of it, there's a lining, there it is. So this is my little sample so that I can explain what it is I'm telling you about the vent. Right, here is the vent. So now let's open it up. So here's the front of the jacket, whether it's left over right or right over left. Here it is. There's the yoke, right? So when I fold it like this, because I want to explain about the sleeves that I cannot be bothered to put it in right now because this is such a small thing. I want to tell you the sleeve. It has something to do with everything in order to achieve the effect of sewing all the way around the jacket. This is difficult to understand, but please try and follow me. So now I've made the jacket and I've done the vent and I've shown you how to do it. But what I didn't explain is, let's just imagine right now there's a slit right here for the sleeve and we've got the sleeve. But when you've made the jacket and you've stitched up the lining and you're putting it all together, you have to stitch all the way around the jacket, right? But in the jacket now, which you don't know, you can't see, but I want you to do a little homework. The jacket that you have in your house, go into it. I'll take my jacket off. And there should be inside the jacket. Look at that. Can you see that stitch mark inside the jacket? Right along there. That's an opening that when I was working for this company, the company was used to be Events Sportswear. Hi Jamie, hi David, and I forgot the other manager. Hi, remember me? Anyway, we used to leave these holes there, and that was a skiing company, by the way. We used to leave these holes there and everywhere there, so that when you stitch all the way around the jacket, you bag the whole thing out through that little hole. So what I have done in this video is to show you, I have put a little stitch there, a little stitch there. So imagine that's inside the sleeve of the jacket, right? And this is all inside out. And then when I finish stitching the whole thing up, then I pull the whole thing through the sleeve of the jacket. Right, so Richard, I don't know how it is you've made it up and you've kind of got a bit stuck, but what you do is you stitch up the lining to the vent, and then once you've done that and all the complicated stuff is done, then with the jacket being in the wrong way, inside out, you then stitch up the jacket all the way around, and then you grab hold of the sleeve that way and one at the back and stitch up the sleeve all the way around and the other one, and then you pull the whole thing through where you have left the opening. That's how you do it. And that is something you would never imagine. No patterns tell you how to do this. Now, this is complicated stuff. So to all the rest of the world out there, Jamaica, hi. Canada, hi. America, hello. Right? And everybody else, right? This is how you do it. There's a lot of secrets in sewing, and just stick with me and I'll let you know what they are. Simple as that. Now, please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and where's the other one? YouTube. Come on now. Take care. And anything you want me, I'm thinking about this, that I might do a list of things, the subject, right? Especially for you lot that are in college and you're stuck at home and you need some help. Actually, I'm connected to a company in America which is with putting videos on for the college, right? If you get stuck on certain things, just tell me what it is. I'll think about it, and the timing, because I'm fitting this into work. But seeing as there's no work now, thanks to COVID, I'm not doing much, right? Other than that, I will help you out, okay? So please, I'll see you later. Or ring me. You have my business number, no problem. Ring me, video me, send me pictures of what you're stuck on, and I'll help. Let's get this on. Bye. Thanks for watching all my videos. Bye. Alright, so where I've ironed it, I'm going to stitch into it. I'll go down as far as there. You could stitch out here if you wish, because this is going back on itself. But let's leave that for now. Let's lift that up so you can see it. Let's fold this over. And you can see that's the back foot. You see it? The only thing is, this section here, I haven't left much to play with. I can cut some of this off. So that's that done. Let's take it back to my table. So Richard, so that is the stage at which you're on, that bit there. I'm going to cut off all this excess stuff here. So there is your flap, and if this was a girl's skirt, we will put a stitch going that way or going downwards to secure this. But on a man's jacket it stays like that. So let's just look at the other side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the scissors and cut into that, just turn it there, so that when I want to separate this, so that this bit opens up. I need it to open up because when I put the lining on top of it, I need it to sit nice and flat. I'm going to have to put the camera down and cut that a little bit more open. So that's what we're left with. And then what I could do is go on top of this and stitch this down together, these two together. But for now I don't need to. Alright, so this becomes now that. because the lining is attached to it, and the lining goes on top here. And the lining goes on there and stitch down. And then this one here, so that's underneath. And then this lining is stitched here. So I'm now going to go and stitch these two linings. I'm now going to stitch these two lining together and leave this dangling around. All I've done here is the one side, I have stitched one side onto the smaller flap. This is the large flap that goes out. So I've stitched this all the way up into, on this line here, on this line right up to the line. So from there you can see it has gone right into that corner, and I've stopped there. And now I am going to top stitch this bit here just up into that little corner to hold it down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch it from the other side, so you can see that's the back of the jacket. Here's the flap. So this bit now is going to go onto here. So where you see I have drawn the tailor's chalk, that's where I'm going to attempt to stitch the lining on it. So as you can see, that's that underneath. And now this lining, I'm going to start with this side, and I'm going to stitch it again on it. Let me pin it on and show you. Now, as you can see here, I've worked my way from the bottom to the top. Right, and where this lining has been joined right there, that's where I'm going to go and meet it and stop. Stop right there. So when I flip it over, you can see where I've drawn on one side. I've missed it a bit, but yeah. And now I'm going to close this up, and then I'm going to do the next step. Right, so here I've stitched this section there, and now I would like to stitch it to, to this section here. Section there, that line there underneath. So what I'm going to do now, because your pattern would already be ready, what I'm going to have to do now is cut off the I'm going to look for the point here, and then I'm going to cut along here to have this to stitch under, and then I'm going to cut off this excess fabric here and leave enough for me to turn over here, so that I can stitch down, so almost like a letterbox. That's what I'm going to do next. Let me point out, I'm going to stitch at a slant coming down, but I didn't cut this right to the edge because I need to allow for certain things. So this is going to be tucked under, and this is going on, so I'll show you that in a minute. I'll tuck them under to show you. So as you can see, this, I'm going to bring the fabric back on itself, and I'm going to grab hold of the back, and I'm going to stitch this going down at an angle, going right into this spot here, go right into this angle here and stitch down, and then that would be right. So let me see. I'd like to point out that at that point there, where the joining of the lining at the back, do not attempt to try and match it up with the joining of the jacket. They are not aligned together. They are off each other. You won't notice it when the jacket is made up, but it cannot line up. So there, I fold over the top section, and I'm going to stitch that first. Go right into that, where that ends, the stitch mark, you go right onto it and continue going down, holding these two fabric. Now let me point out that you're going to have to do it on the back side of this fabric, because you've got to go in the joint of this one, and there's going to be a little hole here, so that was my mistake. So we're going to pin this down and do this section first. Here I'm using the thickness of the fabric underneath there. Can you see that there, that dent? You can see, so my foot is sitting on this, and I'm using it at the moment as a ruler. Yeah, right, so it's done. There it is there, and my hand is absolutely freezing. So that's done. That's the back of the helmet. And then we've got to sort that out. So that's that done. And being a jacket now, you would have to now. I'm going to let me see. I'm going to stitch this. Stitch it, and then show you what you do with that. So I'll stitch the bottom and show you what we do with it. This is the bottom of the jacket. So what I've done, you can see that iron mark that I've done there. So I've stitched this up to the bottom, but what actually happens here is you tuck this section in. Now my stands, all my stands, and I've got 6 of them, they're broken. That's why I'm having problem filming these days, and this camera here is just giving me a problem. So I'm got to have to use this. So let me hurry up. So I'm going to use my hand now. Right, so can you see now? It's tucked in. So that is tucked in. Right. And this now is reshaped and pushed up at a slant, and it's ironed and it's just left there. But sometimes they put interfacing on this section here to hold it. So, or we miter this corner, but that's how we do that. Or we make the lining a little bit more shorter, and then that will for that, and then you stitch this. This is the front, goes all the way around the jacket. This is the front. Now this one, the line is pushed out, so let me cut some of this off and just stitch it, and that will be the finishing of the jacket. And you will do the same for this side. Let me show you, because the battery is finishing. Can you see how it's gone up to this section here? And then you will see that is more or less the jacket. So now that you've done this section, you've closed up the whole of the jacket, you've stitched all the way around the neck and everything. You're gonna say now, well, how are you gonna do this as well as the sleeve? Now, this hasn't got any holes in for the sleeves, but what I want to show you is that I've left an opening here, so we're going to close the whole thing up now, right? And what I've done is I've opened up this little hole here, which now you have to imagine this is the inside of your sleeve, right? So we've closed everything up and we've left a hole in the sleeve. And to test this out, I want each and every one of you people who are watching this video to go and find a man's jacket or a lady's jacket, put your hands inside the sleeve and feel for the stitch mark where they've left it open and had to stitch on top, and you will see that in a second. So I'm now going to close this up to show you how this works. It has to be a jacket that is lined. Just realized that I could lean the camera up. It's absolutely freezing in my workroom, so I thought I'll come and just do this for Richard, because he asked me for it. So now, because it, you know, it's such a lot to come through that small hole, that's that hole that it came through. And that's how we do men's jacket, and that's how we do women's jacket. You make it up and you bag the whole thing through the sleeve. And then afterward now, because the sleeve is hidden, which is the secret, we now grab a hole of this section here, which is the sleeve, and we now stitch this up. And that's what I'm asking you to feel for. It's very close to the opening, so it's going to mess it up a little bit, but this is just the demo. I can't emphasize this so much time that when I'm showing you a demo, it's only a demo. So please don't ask me for measurements. Here we go. There it is. That's what I'm asking you to look for inside the jacket. You will feel this. Yeah? And that's how we close it up. So inside the sleeve you wouldn't see this. No one knows it. It's a secret. And there is the ending of the back of the jacket. I'll speak to you later and I'll go through this when I'm going to go home. Right, so I'm going to go down to my house in a minute, because in here it's absolutely freezing. Oh, there was one more question somebody asked me for. Let me see if there's any piping that's here. All right, hold on.